We haven't even thought about it.
Huh?
We haven't even thought about how we're going to introduce this.
No, let's introduce it this way. We haven't done any. We've been talking away here. It's we Judd and Paddy. How are you doing? Very welcome to another live podcast. This is a special live podcast because I haven't seen Justin during the week. He's been working. I've been here. So I've got a couple of knives that I got. I sort of just briefly showed you these. This is the D2 version of the K-Bar Dozier, and I got the Kaiser T1 in the new and improved micarta, and it sounds flipping gorgeous. Look at that, beautiful. So the other thing we're going to do tonight, and it's Justin's going to do it for the first time, and now he has two Jack Wolf knives now, but he's going to unbox one. He's never had the pleasure of unboxing one and not knowing what the color is or anything. So he's going to unbox that. We'll wait till a few people come in and then we'll do that. So,
Michael, very welcome to you. Thanks for your first
already.
in, or at least first comment. So nice to have you here with us.
Hello, Michael. How are you doing, buddy?
And yeah, I am thoroughly looking forward to this. This is a privilege that I do not take for granted. Let me tell you. Let me tell you. So, as I say, we'll give it a few minutes and then we'll have a look at it. And in the meantime, Stephen's just introduced me to these two little beauties, and I have to say, while okay, the Dozier is a sort of seems to be a kind of staple that's been around forever, that will never go out of fashion, never go out of use. It's my first sort of exposure to it. I like it. I mean, it's a good solid knife. There's no sort of frills about it or anything, but that's what you buy it for.
It is just a working man's knife, but it's got we're just talking, it's the bug out sort of size and shape, plastic handle, blade, cuts, works, and it's also like you were saying,
the Elementum.
The Elementum, it looks very much like that as well, and it's very much a utilitarian knife. Lovely blade, there's a hollow grind in that one.
Yeah, exactly. And on a blade that is this sort of inexpensive for a good hollow grind.
And it costs about 48 here in the UK, and a bit cheaper in America. But just as a little working knife, I just think it can't be beat. You know, I would put that if you're not looking for fidget factor, like something like the Blugout has, and the Elementum to an extent, it's a flipper or whatever. Yeah. This is I'm not even going to say budget, because like £48 isn't really budget it's close. It's a very top end of my budget. When I'm doing reviews, it's a very, very top end. But this, as a knife that you're going to use and work and you're going to beat, unless you want fidget factor, why would you spend £100 more on a bug out and £50 more on an Elementum, whatever I'm not sure what they are. But this is just a really fantastic, and it's now in D2. You can get the Aussie version for cheaper, but I just think it's starting to loosen up now. I've only had it a couple of days.
Yeah, he hasn't quite broken it in.
Yeah, it's only getting there. So,
and then the other one here is the T1?
T1, the Kaiser T1.
Now, you brace yourselves for this. I mean, as you, if anybody's been watching these podcasts, the Paddy and Pals podcast before, if anybody has seen me handling locking knives and flippers, everybody knows that I have no competence when it comes to flipping or opening locking knives. I have no strength for a Spidey flip or open Spidey flip. And yet this knife makes me look good.
It does.
It really does.
Yeah.
It is amazing. The action on this is just extraordinary, I have to say, and the sound it makes when it locks up,
absolutely amazing.
It's just incredible. And I have to say, I was saying to Stephen that I really like. Well, you guys know I like my card on a handle. The warmth the warmth factor that it has in hand, it's just lovely. And this is a good, solid knife. Very impressive.
And for £70 is just a giveaway at the minute. I think it is now. I have to say, you wouldn't say hello to those people because there's a couple that
absolutely.
Norman, say hello, Norman. How you doing? We've got Michael Morgan. We got Slide Tech, which is Tony Meador, who is a real old friend of mine. He was on not on YouTube, but he was a commenter on YouTube, and he's on Instagram, and he has got some of the most beautiful knives in the world. And he's a photographer by trade, and he puts pictures of. He used to put pictures of animals up, and I really miss him. He had some fantastic shots that he takes in his own home in California.
Nice to have you along, Tony.
Yes, really nice to see you. And Mickey, nice to see you.
Mikey, yeah, we can come back to that question in a second once we've said hello to everybody, but I'm sure Stephen will be happy to explain what a compression lock is in a minute. In fact, I'll give him a minute to get his Power 3 out. I'm assuming that's what we're looking at.
I'm going to, yeah.
Wayne, nice to see you, even though we can't see you. And yep, that's pretty much us covered.
Okay, the compression lock. Let me just show you up here. This is the compression lock, and basically what it is. Who asked that question? So
it was
Mikey. Basically, what it is, it's a liner lock that's been turned upside down. It's on the top rather than the bottom. Now, it's a little bit more complicated than that, but nothing you need to worry about. To release a compression lock, all you're doing is pressing, like down below, if you had a liner lock, you would just push the wee bit of metal across and the blade will close. This is on top, so your fingers are out of the way, they're on the knife, and then you just push it in and the blade drops. And that's all it is. It's like a reversed liner lock, but it's much safer and not that much. It's a bit stronger actually up there, I believe, as well. But that's it. All you do is push the wee button and it just drops down. So it's safer to do than most other locking. The Benchmade lock is a strong lock and a safe lock, and I like anything where you can get your fingers out of the way, because I have a habit of cutting myself recently.
He is legendary in his ability to cut himself. He can cut himself with a toothpick from a Swiss Army knife, for goodness sake.
So I hope that answers your question for you. Let us know.
With many thanks to Michael Morgan for the parallel explanation as well. Michael, thanks for that. We've got a few others. We've got Tony's Ponies in, and we've got Mad Hatter in.
Mad Hatter, there's a good name now. What does he have there? Methinks Richie is the future.
Richlight?
Oh, Richlight, yeah, it's the new handle material. Ooh. But it's I think it's just a composite of plastic of some sort that's put together, but they call it Richlight. If I'm right, Mad Hatter, let me know. It is just another form of like micarta or FRN. It's just the newest iteration to come, I think.
Well, if it manages to capture the warmth of micarta and the sort of solidity of G10, I'd be happy enough. Not a big fan of FRN and the more plasticky kind of handle scales, but they're great for lightweight knives, I have to say.
Sorry, Matt's on there. I bought a wee friction folder. I swapped. We've done a trade for a wee friction. No, Matt, it didn't come today, but it'll probably come tomorrow. Don't worry. I'm not worried, because sometimes the post getting here can be a nightmare. It's easy to get it to England, but to get him to send it over here is can be a wee bit. If it's not here tomorrow, I'll worry a wee bit. But it should be here tomorrow.
There's another little bit of information about the Richlight antimicrobial. That's something that we all need to know, especially if there's somebody like Stephen who's always cutting himself.
I do pick my nose a lot.
Yeah, and then he cuts himself. It's a nightmare waiting to happen. Spiros, good to see you in again. Eugene, very welcome, and Warnie Whitler as well, and Don C, not forgetting.
Good to see you all. I hope you're going to enjoy seeing this unboxing. Sneakily, I got this morning, and if you think I can leave this till tonight, to not do a video on it was hard. But I wanted somebody else, and Justin, my best wee mate, I want him to open it in front of me so that you don't get my mad excitement for this 1 month only. And it is 1 month only. So I'm looking forward to him opening that. How many have we got in? What have we got?
I can never tell how many.
Oh, no, it doesn't say, does it?
We'll probably need it. Can anybody do a count as to how many?
Oh, there it is, number 14.
Oh, no, that's
14.
Exactly, yeah. We've got 14 in.
We'll try and wait till we got about 20. If we get to 20, we'll start doing the unboxing.
And we've got lots of explanations of what Richlight is. I'm learning more just reading the comments than I have done in weeks. So it's a version, it's like a paper micarta. Wow. So Eugene Krabs, basically a paper. I've got an LT Wright tracker and maple paper Richlight with natural canvas micarta liners. Ooh, very sounds nice.
It can look great in contour. So it must have that sort of G10, a layered G10 where when you do a contour on it, you get all the different runs off it. Yeah,
absolutely. Very nice.
What's that there? The fella between. What do you say?
The fella in between has got a long face.
That's my wife.
Be
I
careful what you say.
I said that really loud, didn't I?
Yeah, she's going to hear that next door, and she knows exactly what he's talking about.
Yes.
So,
Like all wives, she has a sixth sense. Hello, she's got a long face.
oh,
It's recycled paper. It's great, but I mean, I suppose if you were to be more, I know it's nice to recycle paper, but I think getting rid of plastic would be more my.
well,
You know,
there's that.
I mean,
yeah.
look at the FRN, the Spyderco. You can't fault with it. I mean, it really is just a great material for knives. It's robust. It's waterproof. You're not having to worry about,
Well, that's true.
it doesn't shrink. It's, it's got it maybe doesn't feel brilliant. And I think if they were to maybe use their FRN and maybe bulk it out a wee bit and make it more of a contoured handle, that would be good.
Yeah, but I'm not sure. You see, this is the whole thing. I mean, half of this, the difference between this and this, and you can correct me if you think I'm wrong. By all means, it's never stopped you before. It's the feel of the knife in hand as much as anything else. And for me, I mean, I have a wee Dragonfly, and I love my Dragonfly, and it's an FRN handle, and it really is important because it keeps the weight down. And the whole purpose of a Dragonfly is to be a fifth pocket knife that is absolutely no weight whatsoever, and it's brilliant for that. But it just feels clacky, plasticky.
There's no doubt about it. The other thing that I like about this and the Spyderco, the bidirectional they have in the Spyderco, is if you're working with a little small knife, I like it because it feels secure in my hand.
Because the texture,
the texture just feels like that. You don't move, and especially if you're going to try and get your fingers out of the way. Oh, can't even do that. I'm weak. No, it's not loose yet. Justin could do it. I can't.
I'm not going to try. It'd just be embarrassing.
But again, yesterday I sat in here, just in this room with this T1. Oh, it's like that out of the box. It's scarily good for £70. I think it's a.
But apart from anything else, I mean, the action aside, it's a lovely blade shape. It really is just gorgeous. It's a really deep blade. I mean, that's a good knuckle and a half, or a full knuckle on my finger anyway.
Hold your knuckles up there.
Absolutely, yeah, it's a full
inch.
It's a full inch. So a good deep blade, and it's quite thin behind the edge. Actually.
It is very thin behind the edge, and it's a flat grind. I don't believe there's any hollow in it. I think it's just flat. Yeah, it's just flat.
Perfectly flat. But I'm blown away with this one, I must admit. So
I think it's about 16 degrees behind the edge, which is really good for a flat grind, and that's a really
make it
edge.
sharp.
Yeah, it'll cut through everything. Yeah, there was a couple of wee things that I wanted to say. By the way, we're going to unbox this tonight. Then I'll do a video in more detail of it tomorrow at some stage. In between the rugby, I'll be doing it. Ireland's playing rugby tomorrow.
Oh, right, fine, fair enough.
Against Wales. Big match. So the reason we've nobody here again tonight is I was going to have Ben from Jack Wolf Knives, but he wanted to wait till I've had the knife a week. I literally only got it this morning. So he wanted to wait till we see with it, a week. So it's going to be the following Monday or next Monday or the Friday, whichever suits Justin.
When's the release of the knife?
17th.
So it's next Friday week. It's today fortnight.
Yeah, today fortnight. So we'll maybe do them on that Monday if that's better.
Which is the usual one.
Yeah,
we'll get back to that pattern.
Yeah,
I think it would be a good one.
Because it'll be interesting to see now that he's changed over to the new blade steel, and he's been throwing wee weird questions out. I'm dying to know what's going on in his sick wee mind. I think he's going to be coming out with some new designs, or maybe old designs, but bringing them forward to this class of knife. So it'll be interesting.
No, be careful what you say. To Wayne, be careful what you say. Wayne, you put it out there. You're asking for this.
Did you say, come on, Wales? Take him off.
Take him off. Banned for life.
Apart from that, my ex-wife is Welsh. No, you're gone.
Don't get him started.
Hello, Robert. How you doing?
Good to see you all. Now we've got just 20 people on.
Right, shall we do it? Can you do it? You getting excited? Can you get a wee bit excited
since you told me?
This, I'm passing over the Jack Wolf Knives unboxing.
Just give me it.
I'll move this wee camera down so that they can see a wee bit better.
I suppose if we can get it so that everybody can see it, then maybe this is the way.
Well, you sit in my seat for this. Go on,
No,
swap
no,
seats.
we're okay here.
You all right?
Yeah, we're okay here. All right, so
Nice box.
this is the box.
That was damaged last month.
Oh yes, for the
Terrible. Do you know this took 3 days to get from America to here?
Kevin Hart post at the minute.
3 days. I can't even send stuff to America because they put it on cancel for 2 weeks because of corruption.
All right, the usual legend on the back and the usual box, but I'm not going to waste any time here, and I'm kind of hoping that I don't rip it when I open it, so because I know that Stephen likes to keep it. So now check out
The artwork. That is class.
Oh, that is just awesome. I'm not sure of the reference on this one.
Well,
I'll
explain
one,
it to you.
every single one I've been able to get the reference.
It's called a jabalina.
Yeah. Oh, jabalina is Spanish for boar.
Yeah. Well, this is a desert boar, a pig that's out in California or desert areas, and it's a nasty little pig. And it comes into the towns and starts knocking bins over, and it's because he actually showed a picture of this outside his house. There was a pig on the bins across the street. He showed.
Because he's Phoenix, isn't he?
Yeah,
Phoenix, Arizona.
So it's a desert areas.
That makes so much sense,
doesn't it?
Oh,
so the jabalina, or I'm not sure how it's called, jabalina. Yeah, it's a pig that lives in the desert, and it's got a nasty streak.
And now I'm losing stuff. This is why I don't do unboxings. So we've got the usual pog, or whatever they're called.
Well, we never had pogs, did we?
No.
I don't even remember seeing my kids with them.
And I think my kids might have been into them at some point, but I don't remember it particularly. And then we've got the usual. This is a nice dark one, actually. I think mine are a wee bit paler than this, so I might swap this out for when he's not looking.
You might.
And then we have, we'll come back to that in a second because he won't forgive me if I don't do this unboxing properly. The usual sticker with the guys on it.
Great.
Okay, now I'm not going to waste any more time because lovely pink cloth as usual.
My personality.
Of course.
Soft and gentle.
Soft. Oh, dear God. I guessed it right, didn't I? I guessed that he had got the purple.
Well, I don't get a choice. I genuinely don't get a choice.
Now check it out. I know, but Ben's good, do you? Look at that. Now, actually, on the camera, now I am looking at this on the camera, and it actually sort of shimmers into a sort of silvery blue, but this is actually a purple.
And turn up the other side is more distinct if you get it up closer.
Now that looks on my camera anyway, it looks sort of bluish, but it's much more purple than we're sort of letting on. Now that shape, I'm guessing it's a sow belly, yeah?
It's a sow belly, yeah.
We're just referring back to the pig again.
Yep.
Again, it's another take on a traditional pattern. Now you better explain about sow belly a wee bit better more than me.
Well, if anybody hasn't seen a sow belly, this isn't a new pattern, but it's there's a sow belly. This is a case sow belly. Now this has an end cap, whereas this one doesn't. I have a, what do I see? Well, here, there's another one. It's not a bear head. There's a Tony Bowes sow belly as well. They're both Tony Bowes, really, name. But that's a single blade sow belly. But they are. Oh, let me just hold that. Yeah, that's your hands right. There we go.
Yeah.
They're a single. This is a single blade sow belly, of which there are not many. The companies tend not to make the single ones for some reason. They're usually a double, and that's why Ben wanted to make a single one. Not that it's a completely new idea, but it's just there's not that many of them made.
Gotcha.
And to get that comfort in the hand, having two blades, that's a three blade.
That's a Stockman.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's a Stockman. But to have the two blades, it's like anything. It's never as comfortable when you've when you're using the secondary knife, the big blade is usually in the way. But I say that's one that Case make. It's a single blade. I haven't got another one. It's the only sow belly single blade. But I think Rough Rider do one as well, although they do a stack of sow bellies with 2 blades and 3 blades. So I like that he's fact. Yes, it's just not an unusual pattern, but it's unusual to have it with just a single blade.
The other thing about it is that it's a very elegant, slim knife.
Yeah.
There's nothing chunky about this.
No.
This is very, very slim. And I mean, it's funny because the javelina, when it was when I saw it on the website, it struck me as it always seemed to be a bigger knife than the other knives.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got, this is the Vampire Jack here, and I mean the Vampire Jack is considerably more stocky.
Yeah, and a little bit bigger as well.
Yeah.
I think.
So I mean that's the Vampire Jack on the full extension. So I'm going to open this. What the hell?
Yeah.
Listen up. See that little open to half stop? I think Jack Ben can actually, what's the word, trademark that sound.
Definitely.
Because you don't get that sound on any other knife. It's very
like a ting. It's beautiful. It's a lovely thing.
And this, that is not lovely. Now that's a long clip.
Yeah, I mean, there's other designers have done this blade shape, and they'll call it an upswept jack. Ben just calls it a jackknife. It has that big belly, and yeah, a lot of people, you know, you hear all the time in knives that it's no good for poking. You just turn the knife sideways and poke it. I mean, it really isn't. When you take, if I show you just a knife, if you take a knife like this and just put it down that way,
yeah,
it's there ready for you.
Yeah.
You don't have to lift your hand up and go like this.
True.
Like some sort of
thing.
Yeah. Try not to be yeah.
His teeth aren't working tonight, folks. So at least he has an excuse for losing the thread.
But it's not just. I just think it's.
I think I love the way he does those big belly clips.
Yeah,
it's just so unusual. And just to point out what Stephen was saying, the Vampire's bigger than this. This is actually now. Do you have the little bro there?
Yes, I have. Yeah,
get the little bro out and see, because that's one of the smaller clip, isn't it? I'd be interested to see how it compares in size to it.
There you go.
So
the little bro's a bit smaller again.
So
yeah,
now you get to see an idea of the scale in terms of the sort of, I don't know, sibling rivalry of the different models.
But there's two clip points, and they're so different.
They really are.
But yet they're beautiful.
Absolutely.
And I look, nearly all of Ben's clips have that little bit of a turn, which I just think is amazing. I just love it.
It's hard to beat,
personally. And because I've used them for so long, there's absolutely nothing they can't do. In my books.
And there's a fantastic little swedge on this, but it's difficult to see on camera. I'm just noticing because the blade is actually so fine when it runs into the tip. You know, it's very again. It's another one of those ridiculously.
Oh, it's very. And I haven't measured it. I'll do that tomorrow. But look at that in hand. Is that? Please tell the people at home that when I get these and I say, this month's knife is just as good or if not better than the last, it doesn't, you know, the feeling in hand of that knife is, I mean, that's comfortable, the your one.
But they're all comfortable.
They are, aren't they? It's just, but I suppose that's why I wanted to do this unboxing live, to let somebody else see that I'm not talking about twaddle. You know, if you're out there and you haven't got a Jackwolf knife, it is just, Persian, Tony, it's that Persian look. I just put a picture of the Avalon Jack. Yeah, there's there's 4 different colors of carbon fiber, and there's one in micarta, but it is a Persian look.
Definitely.
A real Persian look, but yet it's not that upswept that you can't poke with it. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely. But I don't. It's a completely different. I've been carrying this for months now, and I mean, this starts to feel bulky compared to this. This is a, you know, the way when you talk about pen knives, when you talk about the knives that you can carry on and every day, the boy's knife, the 15, that you love is it's just the perfect size. This, and remember what I was saying, I've always said, is that I have the small little girl hands. This knife is just perfect for my size of hands. It's just absolutely
and for mine.
Gorgeous. So
there's a boy's knife.
So which is actually it's not that much smaller.
No, it's the boy's knife is the same as the little bro is very much the same size as a boy's knife.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping next year he does a few more knives in that smaller size because they are just perfect for everyday use. There's the 2 of them together. That's the little bro, which will be coming this year. There's a little bro right up against, and it's near enough exactly the same size as the number 15 pattern, which is the infamous pattern of GEC, the boy's knife.
And I just got one of them myself. I'm waiting for it. In green
Oh,
mine corda.
You'll enjoy it.
Yeah. So what we'll do is we'll wrap this up unless Stephen might find something else to say. But I'm just going to ask you all to be for a moment's silence and listen.
It's beautiful. It is gorgeous.
Gorgeous. Absolutely.
I'm glad
gorgeous.
you like it now. I'm just going to put this
What's
over.
not to like?
But do you know what I mean? I mean, people do, and rightly so. People are always skeptical of something when you say it's absolutely brilliant. It's, you know, but until you get them in hand, I'm sorry, you can't say that because they are just so good every month. Everyone is so good, and yes, like Ben's designs aren't way out. They're not that far, except for the
Cyborg.
The cyborg, which I just
you can't get over that.
No, I love the cyborg. I think the fact that he done something completely sort of different makes it, you know, made. Oh, am I doing that? Yeah,
Yep.
I did it wrong. Because he done something completely different from the crowd, you know, I really appreciate that he done that, and I do love that knife. I have to say.
It'll be nice. I think it'd be good. And that's a kind of encouraging them to try it again, you know, and push the boat out a little bit.
This is why I want to get him back in the show, to see how much that has encouraged him, because he's been asking wee weird questions, especially.
Yes, that's right. What was he asking the other guy?
I can't remember the question. I should have looked it up. But the one thing I wanted to say, even if you're not a Jack Wolf knife owner, get over to the Jack Wolf Knives site. You know, if you want to be eventually, it's a great place to talk to people who have got knives that are not connected to Ben. They bought all the knives. They're going to give you an honest opinion. There's knives for sale on there, sometimes a wee bit cheaper than just a wee bit, but sometimes a wee bit cheaper than you're going to buy them new if you're going to buy the model before. So it's a really worthwhile thing. Just go over and check it out on Facebook. The Jack Wolf Knives Worldwide. Yeah, Jack Wolf Knives Worldwide. Absolutely great little site to be on, and I recommend it. So, thwack Batman third. Yeah.
Oh, Jason, you missed the big reveal. Hold on. Just for you. There you go. In all its glory.
And it's purple. It doesn't come across. You'll see my video tomorrow. Hopefully the color will be better on it, but it's purple.
I'm trying to figure out how to get this in the camera.
Yeah, and it's called putting it in front of it.
Naff off. All of a sudden, he's a technical wizard.
There you go.
I've been carrying him for the last 6 months.
It's coming across a little bit purple, but it is a bright purple micarta, which is just beautiful. So I'll do the video tomorrow, and hopefully I'll get the color right, the color balance right on it. Mine.
Yay! Greetings, and this is from Gadget Gus. Good to have you in the room.
Oh yes, Gus is a great man. Gadget Gus, go over to his channel and have a look at his channel if you like it, and if you'll not be able to help yourself, you'll like him, and give him a sub. Definitely. Great lad.
And yeah, it is a sort of Yatagan style drop point. Yes, it's or clip point or whatever. So it is. But it's a beautiful knife, also all told.
Never heard of a Yatagan.
It's a kind of sword, I thought. Yatagan.
Right.
Right. I could be completely wrong. Gus, could you please inform the ignorant amongst us as to what a Yatagan is?
But yeah, he's done. I mean, it's again, like some people are saying, well, they're not that much different. No, they're not. But they're different enough that when you get them in hand, if you have held the other knives that are of that shape, you know there is a difference. And that is the thing. There's a difference. And look, how many knives are just a wee bit different from another one? There's lots of knives a wee bit different, but there's very few all get to the top. It's only the ones that feel best to the top, and these are at the top in my eyes.
This is our prize winner, I believe.
Who's that?
Paul.
Oh, it's Paul. Hi, Paul. How you doing?
He's loving the Benny's clip.
Good, Paul. I'm so glad. That's Paul in the comments there. He won the Benny's clip on the Christmas draw. Absolutely couldn't have given it to a nicer fella. And I've had an awful lot of Paul people saying how thankful they were that you got it. So that's really nice. People do share the love in this community.
Yeah, well, I wasn't Paul. I wasn't allowed to win it. You and me are going to have a conversation. I think Paul's from our neck of the woods as well, so I think he gets the sarcasm if nothing else. So absolutely brilliant. Where have we got? We've got Gus the Man.
Turkey. Oh, you have to go with a Turkish knife.
Oh,
Tony
I
said.
gotcha.
Oh, do you mean, is that the one that's in the curved, being like a dagger sort of thing that's got that swept up dagger?
I think
so.
That's
the one.
Yeah.
Is that the one they're talking about?
Let me do a quick search. You keep on talking.
It's the one that you would buy in the tourist trap as well. You can buy them and it's all pot metal they use, but they look good to hang on a wall sort of thing. Dagger, yes.
Yes, there you go.
Yeah, I thought as you were talking about most other people.
I don't have any.
I have a delay system that's called blank.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for joining us all, guys.
Yeah, it really is nice to see you.
So, are there any questions? No. Anybody got any posers that they want to share with the group while we've still got some time?
Anybody else got the Kaiser T1 in titanium or this micarta that wants to share what they think of it? Because again, I just think if you're going to spend £70, you could do a lot worse than buy this. That is just, look at that action. I mean, years ago, that was a couple of £100 knife that would have done that. Now, you know.
A Kaiser are sort of knocking it out of the ballpark.
They're really making, but they're like, it's like everything else. They seem to make so many knives to try and keep up with them. My bank balance has no chance. And I think that's why I slowed down so much, because it's just, you can't keep up with all these. There's so many knives that come out every week.
I mean, the choice is good for us, but
yeah,
it's madness trying to own or go for or buy everything.
I think it really does test you as a reviewer, because you either buy 3-4 knives every week for your channel and you go skint. And I mean, you will do eventually, no matter how much money you've got. You keep firing out that money, the wife's going to know the bank account's going down. But I mean, to me, you don't get time to enjoy them because you're buying 3 or 4 a week. You can't fully enjoy them. Like, I've got to the stage where hundreds of knives, most of them were budget granted, but I didn't have time to enjoy them.
Yeah.
And now that I've cut back, I'm starting to get these, and I can have a couple of weeks of playing about with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Before I have to go straight into the next 3 and get rid of it. So.
And you can really start to pick and choose as well.
Yeah.
The ones that really you really like. And then, as you say, I mean, you got the rationale behind the Dozier, the sort of Benchmade budget alternative, the bug-out budget alternative, and then this little.
Thanks,
beauty,
Andrew.
This little beauty is just a revelation to me.
On to me, it shocked me. I'd heard people saying how good it was, and you've seen them flicking it on camera, but until you get it in hand.
Very true.
Yes, Andrew, have a good time. If you're going out to work, just suffer. Turkey style, originally used in swords, but also in knives, similar to an Open L8. Great show. Oh yes. Well, I did the 6 there. Have I got an 8? I might have an 8 somewhere about where it is kind of
find your Open L.
It's kind of upturned. It comes down and then up again.
But that I mean, it's interesting. It'd be interesting to see where Ben got the inspiration for that one, because there's always a good story behind his knife. Apart from anything else.
Yeah, because he knows, like he said, he has seen other makers that done that shape of a knife and the single blade. But it's just his part of it. There's 2 that were from Case that were sort of Tony Bowes inspired, but they had end caps on them. I like the fact that this doesn't have the end cap; it's just a bare head.
Yeah. It is a very, very elegant knife. It has to be said. It's just lovely.
And again, you get that warmer feeling off the micarta all the way down, rather than the cold titanium. And to be honest with you, no, I don't know where I was going with that.
Moving swiftly on, we've got a couple of questions now. I'm not a Stu has put a question in there about a Victorian Oxandron. I can tell you what I think it is, but I couldn't guarantee you that it is. And I mean, by and large, I would imagine it's just when they have decided to discontinue a model, and what they do is it's the last production in that model's the last sort of models in that model's run, if you know what I mean. We're going to get a lot of end of runs this year.
Is it also not where they might mix and match different parts of the knife? They maybe mix it up.
Could also be that.
I don't know. I'm only guessing that it could be, a mixture, because when you get a company that goes out of business, like a slip joint company,
yeah,
their blades will often be bought by somebody else, and then there'll be parts knives that'll be put together.
Yeah.
GEC also does it on their yearly thing. They'll do an in-house knife, which is different than everything else, where they've just pulled blades or hand materials together.
And the Victorinox,
one-off.
Yeah, and the Swiss Army knives would lend themselves to that in terms of, lots of tools. They would have lots of different tools left over at the end of the time. And what happened, I think, at the end of the 90s was or the end of the 80s was one particular period where the blade stock, the main blade stock had changed. They had changed the shape of it, so it was thinner for the new ones. The tang stamp and everything changed as well. But older knives pre-1990 tend to have a slightly thicker blade stock on it, so that's why people prefer them more than the new ones. So you will get a mix and match of tools. So Stephen's probably quite right as well.
The other thing with the Wenger stopping, they might have more Wenger blades already done, and they'll put them into Victorinox.
It's very
just to get make again. It's just that mix and match, so you don't lose any money on what you've already done.
Yeah, and that's good advice, actually. That's good advice from Tony's. Mark Kaufman is the guru where Victorinox and Wenger are concerned.
Yeah.
And if you need any sort of input on that, it's worth checking his YouTube channel just to see if it can answer the question directly. Sorry, Stu, we couldn't be more informative there, but that's about all we've got.
The Kaiser drop bear, Dean, is one that I really, after getting this one, I really want the drop bear, and this is where you have to decide what you're going to spend your money on. The Kaiser drop bear is in this sort of bracket. It's a working knife, and do I really need another working knife to go with this? And that's where, as a reviewer, if I was just a collector, I would buy the Kaiser drop bear without a shadow of a doubt, because the reports are at least as good at this, if not more. It's a really nice knife.
And I mean, it's a very similar blade shape to what we were talking about, the Dozier.
Yeah, very much
very similar. So it's that classic spear point kind of thing.
But here's where this is just to back that up.
Spear point, yeah.
There's the
American Lawman.
The American Lawman, which is just a beater. I don't need another good work. This will do me the rest of my day as an any knife, but it's a beater knife that's just so good. I mean, the triad lock, it just drops to your finger and cuts you. But you just move on.
Yeah. Has anybody recognized the irony of Stephen using the term, I don't need another working knife?
But it's one of those cases. This is where there is a difference for, a collector, a knife user, and then a YouTuber, because I think a lot of people think YouTubers are going to have everything that comes out. You can't. Well, I can't. Not on my budget. I've been very lucky to go through my YouTube, given a lot of knives by some fantastic subs, and that sort of kept me in the game, if you like. At some stages where I mightn't have had much money, but now I'm at that stage now where I'm at the sort of grumpy old fart where I'll sit down and think, am I going to buy it? Nah, I'm not going to bother.
Stephen, you've been at that stage for years.
But I mean, it doesn't stop me going ahead with collecting. And I am collecting more and more high end. And people say, no, but you don't do as many budget anymore. Yeah, you're right. But there's nothing wrong with budget. I still have them. I love them. I still buy them, but just not in the quantity. I don't need them. As I've gone on, I've been able to accrue a nice set of knives, and I can trade and swap and buy and sell to get the knives that I want for my collection. Because one of these days I'll not be on YouTube. No tears. There'll be one of these days I'll not be on YouTube.
Stop it now. It's not an announcement or anything.
And I'll have a wee box of knives in front of me that I love, and I can just sit there and play with one. Every day of the week, a different knife.
Oh, it's bringing a tear to my eye.
Oh dear. Right, give us some questions.
Where have we got? Dean's got a Spyderco Manix 2XL exclusive from Knife Event. I don't know what that is. But I have the Manix 2 lightweight, Dean, and I think it's a fabulous knife, but it's just not for me. It's too big.
Uh-huh.
And again, the lightweight version of it is the FRN. I'm not particularly keen on the FRN, so I'm trying to con Stephen into taking it off my hands.
That's because he knows I will.
But I'm kind of disappointed that he says he doesn't need another working knife. The fact that there's a Spyderco Manix XL, an extra large one. I mean, how big can does a Manix need to be?
Did you not know that Gruffalo collects knives?
Just for the extra large Gruffalo, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But I'm sure it's a beautiful knife because the Manix, I haven't. I mean, in any of the reviews on YouTube, nobody says a bad word about the Manix, just in terms of it as a practical, good all-round blade. It's fantastic. What have we got? There's Byron's in.
Hello, Byron. How are you, my friend?
That's it. Once more with feeling. Thank God it's Friday. Quite right.
It's just another day when you're retired. Just another day. Every day's a Friday.
He always needs to rub it in. No, I mean, us working stiffs have to put up with that. Stop it. Do you still have your Spyderco pits?
No,
Stephen?
I don't have it. No, it's a lovely knife. It functions perfectly, but I don't think it was ever a knife that I was ever going to keep in my collection. It's not a gimmick. That's wrong. But it is more of a showpiece that you don't want to take out and use. And although there's a lot of my knives I don't use all that often, I do like to be able to use any knife. And with that, the blade marks, even the handle material, it marked up really so easily that you'd have lost a whole lot of money on what was already an expensive knife. So no, I just sold it.
How long ago was that?
Oh, year and a half, 2 years maybe. 2 years maybe. I can't remember now. It's every knife's a world now.
There is that. And our next question: anything from SHOT Show? I haven't seen SHOT Show yet.
Well, I've seen a lot of the videos. There was a lot of the videos up, and if you are going to look at any videos from SHOT Show, go to Kershaw and CRK, because there was nothing in any of the other ones that appealed to me, except one, and this is unusual, which was a Spyderco that's coming out this year. It's got a clip point. Spyderco don't do clip points.
What?
A clip point on a Spyderco, and it looks outstanding. It's probably going to be one of the dearest ones. I don't think it is actually, but I mean, they'll do an FRN version of it anyway, which is what I like about Spyderco. I mean, I love the fact that they test all different blade steels. That's fantastic. But the fact that they'll go to a clip point after all these years hitting a clip point, I think that knife is going to be the biggest seller of the year when it comes out. There's a prediction. The clip point Spyderco knife of the year.
That we're right at the beginning of the year.
But I would also try Kershaw and CRKT.
What struck you in the Kershaws?
There was so many new knives, which nobody else was doing. And they had some really good shapes, designs, a couple of different blade steel upgrades that you don't normally get from Kershaw and CRKT. But yeah, they were the best. The videos I enjoyed the most was them, because nobody else seemed to have. They maybe have one or two, new knives. Now, I didn't see a lot of the Civivi, and what's the other one that's out there at the minute? There's another, but I don't follow them because literally they throw a knife out every day and a half. There's 2 new knives out.
You can't keep up with them. It really is. Although I have to say, Civivi still do some beautiful knives in spite of the mass that they throw onto the market. Fitz, what about yourself? Is there anything particular that caught your eye? Let us know in the chat.
Michael, I don't know what the model's called. I should have wrote it down. Where did I see it? It was one of the SHOT Show Spydercos where they had the owner of Spyderco. It's Sal. They had Sal on, so it's an interview with Sal, and he showed a quick glimpse of the model. He wasn't giving much away about it. Heck of a time to be new collecting. Can't believe what you can get for under 100. Tony, it's unbelievable. Even from when I started 6 years ago, what you can get now for under 100 was costing you hundreds, 6 years ago. It's scary. And the quality, more than even the design, it's the quality you're getting for under 100. It's right, way above what you should. You should not, go back. This is a perfect example. My Carta, what's the blade steel is this?
Actually, that was a good question. I didn't even notice that.
I think it's 14C28N. Can you see that there? Let's see. I get my magnifying glass. No.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
14C, so it's standard.
14C28N, which is for a 70-pound knife. I think is a fantastic steel. Easy to sharpen. Takes a smashing edge.
Actually, it says 154.
Oh,
cm.
it's sorry. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's CPM 150. It's 154 cm, which is not the same as CPM 154, which is a powder steel. This is not a powder steel, but it's the upper end of the. It's very much like 14C28N. That's probably the best way to describe it. Takes a wicked edge. A lot of custom knife makers like using it because they can get such a polished edge on it. It's easy to work with, and still a fantastic, blade steel.
Absolutely. And I think that's it. That's the point. It's like, Tony, it's where you used to be able to, where you used to only be able to get budget steels on budget knives. Now the cost of producing the what used to be higher end steels have now become mid-range steels, and they've come down and down and down.
There you are, Jack Wolf knives, and you're getting S90V. I meant to say that they're S90V now, the Jack Wolf knives, which is just a fantastic steel. To get that on a knife that's £250, 275 for the micarta, not the micarta, the carbon fiber. To get S90V, and that's a bit of a bargain.
Oh, absolutely.
I know there is knives that do it a bit cheaper, but to get that with the whole package is just fantastic.
Absolutely. Mr. Lopez was just saying, I just got a Spyderco pitch from USA for 200, all because I came across Paddy's UK legal knives video, and it started my interest in getting an EDC UK legal knife.
Isn't that fantastic?
Well, keep watching, Mr. Lopez, or Mr. Lopes. I'm not sure how we're going to pronounce that one. Because there's plenty of material here and plenty of options that we'll be exploring over the next few weeks.
Yeah, I've got quite a few wee knives in recently, from budget to more expensive. Not that many much more.
When he said,
yeah, I've got quite a lot of inexpensive, great knives and some inexpensive duds, because I'm going to show you the sort of knives probably this week coming. I'm going to do a video on why knives don't get to come on my channel.
Now, you see, I'm kind of sad about this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm going to pick up with you.
Go ahead.
Because you have never shown a knife on your channel that you couldn't stand by, that you couldn't say something nice about. And now you're telling me that all of a sudden you're going to put knives on that you think are crap.
No, I've always kept them away. If I buy a knife and it's crap, it doesn't come on. It just disappears in the rabbit warren of old knives that get given away to people, and just wherever. I'll maybe sell a whole batch of them cheap. But they're knives that have got blade rub with the blades right against the side of the knife. I've knives like that I bought this week that were for the channel, but they wouldn't normally get on. But I just want to show this is why I don't do it, because what's the point?
Yeah.
And I'm not going to, that might be the only bad knife in that maker's.
Fair enough.
We can all pick on something, you know what I mean? And sometimes that could maybe be the only bad one in the batch, and I'm going to be there down riding that person's life.
Yeah,
livelihood.
Yeah,
I don't need to do that. This is my pleasure, my hobby. And as much as I don't like calling me, somebody coming on the channel and calling me a big fat get, you know who you are.
We've all done it one time or another.
And I really don't want to do that to another knife maker or designer.
No,
but if I say I like it, I genuinely like it.
Yeah, I think we know that by now.
But yeah, and I think over the time that I've been on YouTube, I've had lovely comments like that where people have seen something and done something. That's the best about this, being a YouTube creator, is somebody saying they really like it and have gone and done something about it. S30V will be a budget state. It nearly is now a high-end budget, I would say, Michael. Do you know what I mean? A middle-of-the-range knife has got at least S30V on it.
Well, it's funny you should mention that, because there's one. I think that's S30V.
My magnifying glass is behind you there.
Oh, are we?
We're in my house. Sorry, had you lost your way? Did you have a wee mental blur?
No, it's S35VN.
Yeah, well, that's higher.
Yeah.
That's higher.
I mean, that's on the little, oh God, what do you call it? That's the concept It's not the Bevy, it's the other one, the lockback version of it, the
Uh-huh.
Wedge, I think it is. And I mean, that's a cracking wee knife, but that was only 60 quid. And I think it retails in Heine at 110, but I got it on sale when it was on special offer, and it was
And it's got green camo carbon fiber.
carbon fiber. So it's
S35 VN.
you know, so it proves your point, Michael, completely. A relatively inexpensive knife, small though it might be, with what used to be a super steel.
Thank you, Dean. It means that S35 VN has fallen out of favor. Do you want to know, Tony, which I find even more scary, is S45 VN is hardly talked about, which is the newest out, steel from,
Oh, excuse me, Stephen, please.
And I'll tell you the steel. I was never really in the mood to buy Magna Cut, but I did. Anybody who's seen the channel, I've been carrying this in my pocket now for about 5 days. This is the Bear. This is the tactile turn Bear, which is a slip joint. Magna Cut, just under 3 inches blade. It is so thin, unbelievable.
Scary thing.
Has a lovely walk and talk. Just a beautiful little knife, but it has Magna Cut, and they actually give you the I don't know, think of the word. It's 61 HRC.
Oh,
they actually give you the hardness
rating, yeah.
in your thing. It's hardened to 61 HRC.
Oh, it's on that certificate.
Yeah, it's on the certificate. And I'll have to say, so far now, the geometry of this knife, it would nearly cut blunt. Do you know what I mean? It's that sort of a
thin behind the edge. Yeah.
It is so thin you would lose it very quickly down the drain. It is just, and it's got that beautifully concentric circles on the handle, milled. That's not really showing. Again, I'll be doing the video shortly of this. So Magna Cut has actually nearly put CPM S45 BM.
Yeah.
There's hardly anybody using it. But yeah, Tony, this is great in a pair of slacks.
Yeah, Michael Morgan's actually drooling. Yes, I think he likes it.
This one?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. It's just.
I haven't seen this yet.
Oh, I thought you'd seen it.
No, I've seen it on the
Well,
channel.
you seen was a bloody antisocial come out of my house.
Oh, shut up! You're lucky to have friends, for crying out loud. The way you treat them now, stop it,
Bitch.
It's okay. Oh, that's nice. That is really nice.
I forgot you hadn't seen that.
That is a really nice knife. But what's so special about the Magna Cut? And is it one of those powdered steels, or is it a?
I'm going to do this. I'm going to do it very, very basically because that's the way I think. Magna Cut is a complete all-round steel. It's not the hardest HRC. It's not the lowest. It's all-round. It's heat treated. It can be heat treated well, right up to 64, 65. No problem whatsoever, and not go chippy. It also won't rust. You would have to do an awful lot to get that knife to rust.
So the high chromium content.
It's got that. It's a completely new recipe, and it just does all the 3 things that knives need to be a good blade. It's got all the consistent parts, but added to in this new sort of soup mixture that he came up with. I'm trying to think of the fella's name.
Answers in the comments, please, folks.
It's gone out of my head what his name is. Tactile Turner they've made about 3 or 4 different models now, Tony, and they are just knocking it out of the park, I have to say. Really worth a look. They have lock-in ones as well. That's the only slip joint that's done so far, and it's just, this is milled like their pens. If you've got a tactile turn pen, this knife is at milling. I mean, this in my pocket is like stroking a lady's stocking. You know the old stockings where you used to get proper nylon? That's what it feels like to stroke that.
Unfortunately,
the
image of Paddy doing that is now firmly embedded in my head, and it's not pleasant. Okay,
that's why I had to put it in a slip.
I won't be able to pay for enough therapy to get rid of that one. No, I
had to put it in a slip to stop me stroking it.
All right, back. Where are we going? Baron, yeah, it was a good. It was a good deal on that knife. You're dead right, Baron. It was a good deal on that little knife. I actually think Heine made a mistake. I'm not hoping they're not listening, but I think they made a mistake. The trouble is, I took it in all innocence and didn't even check it until I went back to see it. Noticed that it was
so innocent.
Shut up! Shut up! I nearly had them convinced.
He was in my room that day.
Dane, thank you very much for that vote of confidence. It's always nice to know that we're doing something right amongst all the blether. Now, Byron, you've got a good question there.
Paddy and Judd.
Are you aware of a US dealer who's carrying who knives from the UK?
No, I don't think there is. But Who Knives sends them at a very reasonable price. They're not taking a hand out of it. He's literally just selling it at the basic price that he can get it to America for. And I don't think he's had any problems. So it's worth contacting him. Definitely, Byron. And if he can't get it, if it's too expensive, maybe it would be no cheaper for me to do it for you. You know, I could do it, but I think it'd probably be cheaper getting it from him because you're going to have to get it posted to me and then on. So I would check with him and ask him how much he charges. He'll be able to give you the price off the top of his head. But I would ring him, or if you're going to send him a text, do it in the evening time after work because he works during the day. So maybe the weekend's the best time to get him and ask him how much he charges. But I know, or I've heard, that it's not much. He's not getting a hand in at all. He just wants to sell the knife.
Yeah.
As long as the postage covers, that's all he wants. And if you use Paddy, go back to my video on it, Baron. I can't remember what it is off the top of my head. You get 10% off, which will probably cover the cost of your postage. So there you go. I think it's Paddy 2022 or something. It's on that video, Baron, of the knife. It's in the description. But that'll cover your postage probably.
Mr. Lopes is asking if we've ever had any trouble carrying a legal knife in the UK.
Carrying it illegal?
Illegal.
Oh no, I've had no problem carrying any.
And I get the anxiety, especially if you've got an expensive one. I think if you're out in the street carrying a pocket knife in normal circumstances, you should be fine. But you need to be careful about going into certain buildings. One of the ones I know, especially in London, if you try to get into buildings like the Shard, their security is so tight that they will take even a Victorinox Classic off you. That's how tight the security sometimes is. So just be very circumspect about where you are going and bringing your knives.
And again, a lot of that is common sense that sometimes you only get as you get older. If you're youngster, you throw a knife in the pocket in the morning and you forget that you're going out to a club that night and you're not taking it intentionally, but you can lose a £500 knife by just being a bit
daft,
yeah,
careless.
Yeah,
actually,
just being careless.
Be the thing.
But if you live in somewhere like London in these bigger sort of areas that have got knife crime, you're more likely to get stopped and checked if you're a young fella. If you're 64, there's very few people who are going to come up and check my pockets for a knife. They wouldn't expect to find 3 or 4.
There we go. Mikey Newman, there's an interesting one. A buck 110 in Magna Cut.
Came out about 2 weeks ago.
Wow.
It was a special. They done it. It was a limited edition, and I think it was sold out within about 5 seconds. It was just gone. It was they'd done 100 just, and they were gone, or 500 maybe.
The Buck Legend is based on their 420.
Yeah. But I mean, it's time Buck are starting. Don't forget Buck in their custom shop, which is great. If you ever go onto it, you can get S30V. You've had it for years. You've been able to get.
So you can get whatever you need.
And they do like special models that are everyday sellable in S30V, but they've just jumped straight to Magna Cut now, which
no messing.
It's such a good steel. It seems to be anyway. I mean, maybe this time next year I'll be cursing it because I'll not be able to get an edge on it.
Fra Ross, how in the name of good Gordon Richards did you break your Ganzo? I'm almost afraid to ask. Were you just constantly playing with it? He broke a Ganzo Q729.
Good God.
They're usually fairly solid knives. What the hell were you doing?
Bomb proof. God, I've had my. What's a 729? What's a 729? Is that 729 or is that 757? I can't remember. Where's that magnifying glass?
There you go, bro.
That is 759. I thought it was. The 729. What is that?
I'm not sure what it would be, but either way, I mean, a ganzo that you can break just by flicking it.
Aye, 729. This is the big.
79.
Gosh, I've had this for.
Was that the Para 2?
Yeah, this is the. No, it's not a Para 2. It's a Ganzo 729.
Sorry, clone the Para 2.
No, it's not a clone.
The Para 2 homage.
Homage. It's got an access lock,
Sorry. Okay.
which I think is better than the back lock that Spectacle have. I've had that for 6 years. Tony will tell you, I had this from the beginning, this very knife, and I love it. But gosh, I haven't heard of anything. I've never had so much as a spring go on my Ganzos. And I have so many.
Fra Ross, as your mother might say, stop playing with your ganzos.
Play good. Play nice. Crispy Critter, how you doing?
How are you?
This is my mate Judd.
Nice to meet you, Crispy. Tony, you have no idea. Tongue in cheek or otherwise, but it's way too close to the bone for comfort's sake.
What did I say?
I don't know, but it doesn't take much. It was you in your stockings.
Yes, well, it is. That's what it felt like. Do you remember the old stockings had that real nylon ribbed feel to them?
Absolutely.
He's scared his wife's going to be watching this.
I ain't touching that one with a brush. And in the best history of the office, that's what she said. No, Fra Ross, on a follow-up to the Ganzo thing, can you suggest a Wharncliffe blade knife? Doesn't have to lock, and preferably one that he can't break.
I can recommend you one of the best that, and it's a mid-range in my book. It's mid-range, and it is the Rough Rider. Yes, the Rough Rider.
Absolutely.
Easy open. There we go. You can see it's the easy open, and it's the Rough Rider Reserve. So it's in D2 and the most beautiful micarta. Well, apart from the butt plug that's on it, but this is getting a bad show tonight.
It really is. Would you stop?
You lead me on.
Oh.
You're putting these questions up, so you know I'll get bad ones. This is one of the best bargains out there. It's about 66 quid or something, and it's worth every penny. And it's non-locking, so that'll cover both your questions. But that easy open is fantastic. So listen to that.
I can actually. I mean, that one is gorgeous. I have the micarta in the blue micarta work one from Rough Rider, and it is just fantastic. The Wharncliffe is just—it's an absolutely solid knife. I think it was only about 25 quid. So if you haven't gone to Rough Rider before and you want to try it out, go for the low end one. You will not regret it, believe me. And then have a look at the reserve one, because it is just in terms of the finish on it, it's gorgeous.
I've had both. I've had all three of them. But I mean, that is if if you're a knife person and you've had knives before, I think you'd appreciate the D2 as well. But if you're a beginner and you're not sure, go for the cheap one, because it's nearly exactly the same.
Michael Morgan suggested
nearly exactly the same.
Yeah, approximately. Michael's suggesting another one for you, which is the Brother Knife 1508. It's a nice one, but the Wharncliffe on it is so. That's the one with the really long and skinny one. It's virtually surgical, but it's another nice knife. I have the locking version of that, I think.
Yeah, I
in the slip joint.
I get most of Brother Knives new. I would put the Rough Rider Reserve one above it by far. To be honest with you, that's just my opinion.
But then again, the Brother Knives, especially if you're getting them from AliExpress, fraction of the cost.
Thanks, Paddy.
Okay, what else do we have? Or a Queen Wharncliffe for something even smaller. And then we've got.
What can you say, City? Don't tend to carry in work. Why? Why? Here's. I'm saying why. Sorry, I didn't mean that to sound so cheeky, but like you're just talking about a Wharncliffe there, which is great for work because you're doing detailed work, maybe cutting through paper. There's the Queen. That's again, it's another Rough Rider, but they own Queen now, and there's their little Queen Wharncliffe. It's in 440A, but it's thin. It takes a good edge, but it's just so skinny. You could set that in your desk, and that's non-threatening. Beautiful saw cut bone on it. Just a beautiful little knife for sitting at the desk.
And I think that's the thing. It's the non-threatening kind of thing about it is, I find the Warncliffe's a wee bit dangerous looking, but if you didn't want to go for a Warncliffe, I mean that to me is a little bit even less threatening, and it's a very elegant little case knife, little case Barlow, and the spear point, which is classic on Swiss Army knives as well, and especially at that size, tends to be one that you can pull out for buttering bread, and nobody will particularly bat an eyelid, so long as it's not don't bring out your Mannix 2, and flick it out madly. But if you're looking for a simple slip joint, keep it small in size, so that I think you have to be comfortable in your carry, and I think it's sort of, even being slightly worried about it shows good sense, especially in the UK. I think it's better to be safer than sorry.
Very much so.
Because you don't want that to go. But at the same time,
if you want to go completely over the top and search for one of these, there is I think it's a Wolstenholme, the IXL is the Wolstenholme office knife, and it actually says it on it. So you can actually set it of
understanding.
You can set it in your desk. You'll have to get them on the secondary market, but it literally is just a pen knife. It has one spade blade, and they're small little blades, but they'll do everyday tasks at work. And that's, I know I'm saying that's a spade blade. They use that for taking the ink off on a bit of paper. If you made a mistake, you could rub it off. That's what it was used for. In
the olden days,
parchment, when you were using parchment,
when dinosaurs roamed the earth. I love that. I love the fact that, if you do get into trouble, saying, I understand you're carrying a knife, sir. Yes, but that's why. It's the office knife. So I just love that.
Yeah, but I mean, that's the sort of thing you can buy reasonably priced on the second, maybe not reasonably priced for that particular one. But
me personally, that's I always carry an executive. At the minute, I've fallen in love with this knife all over again. And it's that combination. It's not quite as small as the 58 millimeter size, say in the Manager. It gives you a little bit more scope in terms of the blade and tools, and it's just a lovely, slim, lightweight carry that is not out of place in an office at all, or any kind of work.
You turned me on, even just not an office, just as an everyday carry. That's a fantastic. You turned me on to that, and I sort of poo-pooed it a bit, but absolutely 100% agree with you. I've still got this in my pocket. Still, that's over a week that has been in my pocket, because I'm about the house, and if I'm going to use something, this is it. Because you've seen that I'm blind, and Justin made me this one up, and it's got the wee magnifying glass on it. And when I'm sitting in the front room looking at knives, I'm always looking at it to see what it says. And I just love the fact that it's on there. And it's got an inline screwdriver, which I do not know why Victorinox do not do that on every single knife.
I know.
An inline screwdriver, which is just fantastic. The wee Phillips head. So
I know it's a cracker. Byron's just put an interesting one in there, and it illustrates the point completely. It's the same in the US as it is here. If you're not careful in terms of the security arrangements in some of the buildings you're walking into, it's dead easy. And as he said, it may have even been a simple Victorinox 91 like Stevens, or even smaller is in the 58 mil size. They don't discriminate, and this is why airports are full to overflowing of little pocket knives.
The sad thing is, over here we don't get the chance to buy them.
I know.
I wish we could get the chance, because there'd be thousands of them.
I even had a contact in the airport,
right?
And they couldn't get a hold of it.
It's just that's a shame. I was watching a YouTube video on these companies in America. Once a year they do a sale, and you buy a pallet box. It's the size of a pallet, full of knives for about $30 or something. It's just a mixture. Most of it's going to go in the bin, but you must get some bargain.
There must be something in there. Even the fun of just going through it. It would be hilarious. Yeah. There's Tony's giving his best regards to Sally. Yes, she is long suffering, and thanks to Stephen's knife buying habits, very poor.
And we still have the best picture we have in the house of the stork that you got us. It's beautiful. I'll show it to him later on tonight. It's beautiful. Sally would give that to nobody.
Okay. Prop Blast. What's the name of that one? What one were we talking about? Was
the
Oh, the Victorinox.
This is a handmade one.
That's the caramel special.
It's a caramel special. It's got two. It's got the more sturdy Phillips on the back side of it. If you want to get torque, the inline one. This is me. I got it made up to my specifications, so there is no name on it other than Justin's Best. I just call this the Justin's knife. You had the inline screwdriver, the magnifying glass, the main blade, and on the back we have the small blade. And that's it. Yeah, just a small blade. So it's really just an about the house knife. It's not, but I love it. It's this caramel, this micarta that's on it. It's soft. It's just beautiful.
Really
I mean, I normally change my knives quite regular, but you were here last week and I had this and it's never moved. Yeah. I've actually caught it that many times on things. The actual clip is starting to stick out.
That happens to me as well. But you know what his pockets are like? Have you ever seen the scene from Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome, where he's at the entry to Bartertown and they just ask him if he's got any weapons, and he spends 10 minutes emptying his pockets. That's what he's like with knives in his pockets.
And that's just in the house.
Yeah, it's like about half a dozen knives.
I've only got.
He's wondering why his jeans are falling down around his ankles.
I've only got two
today.
Well, yeah, and one on my coat and one on my key ring.
Here we go.
And then I feel safe.
Oh, hell, is that Wi-Fi right? Yes, Baron, the Rough Rider Reserve and the Barlow are really good for the price. I have to say. Where are we? Yeah, Paul Baker, that is agreeing that the denim micarta work knife is a fantastic knife. I love it, I must admit. It's one of my favorite Warncliffe shapes. Yeah. And yeah, Tony, you see, I think the Warncliffes are look a wee bit dangerous, but it's that point. I think they're the most gorgeous, one of my favorite knives.
But them knives are under 3 inches, so I don't care if they look a wee bit straight. It's not that I would never take it out, point it at somebody. So I'm going to be working at my desk, or I'm not going to be running about the office. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
it wouldn't take you much.
I scare people with it.
Ain't that the truth? Crispy Critter is saying that his favorite Warncliffe is the Sencut Watauga.
I haven't got a Sencut yet, but I've now found somewhere I can get them in the. Did I find it? Was it in the UK? I think I've actually found a place where you can get some.
Ooh. What's with Sencut?
It's the cheaper version of CJRB, or not CJRB.
CRKT, no, CJ.
No idea. It's too many. There's letters running about my head. It's like one of those sweetie machines.
It's getting to that time. We're almost at the end here. So I mean, he has to go to bed soon. So do I. It's getting past my bedtime. So, but thanks for that, Crispy. Get official office knife later. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, why not buy a white bone knife and get it etched in?
Yeah, I know, but he wants to do it into his fixed blades. Are we talking like 6 to 12 inches, Byron? Are we talking 6 to 12 inches? Yeah, we've got a lot of people saying that the Rough Rider Blue Denim Work Knife is a good one. Don say there's a man after your own heart. Don say in Canada says he carries up to 4 fixed blades with him at any time.
I'd love to carry fixed blades. I would like to have them all sideways around my belt.
It'd be like something from a Clint Eastwood movie.
I have a bandolier of GECs. I have a good one. It's a gun. No, I have a good. Oh, he said have a good one. I thought he was saying have a good one. I have a gun. And it's Gus,
folks. Yeah, it is definitely time for us to go. So we'll wrap this up. Can I just say thank you very much to everybody, to Tony and Gus and Andrew and Baron and the other Andrew and Michael and all them.
It's a cheaper version of
Civivi. So right, gotcha.
Yes, Civivi started out the budget. Now they moved up one and Sencuts come in.
And then there's Banter above them, and
Banter. No, it's separate. That's
no, Wee Knives should say.
There's Wee Knives at the top, and then
Civivi, then
Sencut. I can't keep up with that. I just do not keep up with Wee, Civivi, or Sencut. What do you think is the most threatening blade shape?
Unthreatening.
Unthreatening.
Yeah.
Fat spear.
Yeah, I think for me the spear has to be a spear.
Yeah, fat spear is just Lovely. And I mean, there's a reason why it's on Victorian Office. You know, just a basic spear point.
Absolutely.
There's a reason why it's on there. They're the most sold knives in the world.
And also probably most useful. So,
yeah, and it is. Yeah, it is the most useful. Mightn't be the best stabber, but that takes that threatening bit away from it.
I mean, if you think about it, the my first Victorinox knife, which is designed for children, has actually got a spear point, but it's got a blunted end on it.
Yeah.
So it looks like a spear point, but it's the philosophy behind it is that it's actually, it looks unthreatening enough that a child could use it if need be. You know?
Very much so, yeah. Very much so.
Will we see? Final question from Baron.
Did you get that out all right? How many times?
Baron, not sure to be honest. He's busy with work at the minute, so hopefully we'll keep in touch with him of as much as possible. But we'll keep you posted on Dan's progress and work anyway. As a sort of little touch point, he is doing some incredible work on custom Swiss Army knives. So definitely go out and try and check out bladebridge.com, because he's doing some fantastic stuff with original materials and all kinds of things. So if you're interested, go and have a look at his website. Folks, that is pretty much us, I think.
Yeah, I think, it's lovely. Thank you for the questions tonight. It really does make it more entertaining for us if we're not having to think of questions. As you've seen, thinking is not one of my better qualities. That's why I have him here. It's not for his good looks.
It's nice to have a purpose, people. It's nice to have a purpose.
Thank you so much, and we'll see you maybe not on this is Friday, isn't it?
Yeah.
Probably be the following Monday.
Yeah. So not next
2 Mondays away.
Monday week, as we say over here. Okay. All the best, guys.
Take care, everybody. Thanks very much indeed. Bye-bye now.